Good evening and welcome. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a while since I've done a live on a Tuesday night, so thanks if you're joining. Please jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from. It's always great to welcome new people watching tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe. So then you know when I'll be doing lives. My lives are on Tuesday night and on Fridays at 1 o'clock. Now tonight being Tuesday night, it's Template Tuesday, so today I've done a little bit of looking around and found a template. So we're going to make something from the annual catalogue, and it's a new product and I haven't played with it as yet, and we're going to be looking at the Thoughtful Journey. So this is a really pretty suite, and in this suite you have got a pack of 6x6 designer series paper, and there's 12 different images in that designer series paper. Now let me just go through them and show them to you. So that's the one that I think we might be playing with tonight, and then on the reverse side we have that. So it's beautiful colorway in this. This one here with the lovely trees and everything, gorgeous water wash, and the reverse is that one again, very, very pretty and stunning. I love all these colours in this particular suite, and the reverse side of the paper is just as nice and really good if you're wanting some of those colour washes. And what I thought I'd do tonight is I'm actually going to cut out some of the dies in some of these papers using the reverse side. So there's quite a few different designs in this, and I'm sure that you will find something that you will love in this suite. So really beautiful papers, and Stamping Up have brought out a few types of papers like this in these lovely water wash colours. You know, your different landscapes and everything. There's another one, sort of very wintry sort of wash there, and that one as well, and there's the reverse of that. Also you have, of course, stamps and dies. So there's the stamp set there, and some great sentiments there. Love the font they've used here. Just some very simple plant type, I'm sorry for the glare, there we go, just remove that glare from there, type fonts which you can easily stamp and colour with either your watercolour pencils or blends, or even your blender pen and some inks. Just very simple colourings will be needed in this. This is a red rubber stamp. So you can see I haven't used this as yet. And probably the only stamp I'm going to use tonight will be a sentiment. And it also comes with the dies. Now, I'm not going to pull all those dies out to show you, but I will show you here in the catalogue. Let me bring this up closer so you can actually see. But there's quite a few dies in that, you know, like leaf dies to cut out these images. So this image here gets cut out, and this one here, which are these two solid images here. Then you've got all these little leaves. You've got a single little flower and some other little flowery leaf pieces as well, and this beautiful flourish there as well. You also have in this suite these elements here. Hi Cheryl, thank you for joining. Great to have you on here. So you've got a lovely lot of pearl elements there. Let me just open this up so you can actually see. I just like to slip it down the sides. That way I can just pull that out. And look at all those beautiful colours. It's got a real glisten to them. They're very pearlerized, even though they're pearls. So you've got a sort of couple of different colours in there. It's almost what we call in the fabric world shot colour. So depending on which way you turn it, to which colours are going to really show out. And the other paper they've got in this particular suite is this one here, which again has got that lovely shot effect. So you've got two colours on that sheet. I don't know whether you can actually see the top colour up here is very much in the new Petunia Pop, and then going down into like blue tones at that end. This one here again, sort of like your Petunia Pop at this end, and Eclipso Coral at the other end. It's a bit hard to show on this because there are 12 by 12, these papers here. This one here goes from Eclipso Coral. Not quite sure what other colour goes into that. It's probably slightly more of a greyer tone of Eclipso Coral. This lighting isn't being really my friend tonight, unfortunately. This one here, sort of more your yellows to your green tones in that one. And then this one here is like a pretty peacock going from the dark shade almost up to your light shades in that one. Hello, Jen. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, so they're the papers that come in this suite. Let me just pop these back in here. We are going to be using one of these. Possibly, let me just pull out the one I think we might be using, which is the first one I showed you, which is that one there. And I'll pop these down here on the floor next to me out of our road, just so then I don't have my desk too cluttered. We'll pop those to one side. And let's get started, and let me show you, now I did have it here a minute ago, the template we're going to be playing with today. So this one I found on Pinterest. Someone's already written up all the measurements and everything on there, but we may change these measurements because they're in inches and we're going to be working in centimetres. It's going to be, usually most of the cards I make is a 10th fold card, but this time we're going to do a book fold card. So we're going to cut our designer series paper at, now I've got to think because I'm so used to doing it the other way. We're going to cut it in half at 21 by 29.9 centimetres, and we're going to score that at 10.5 centimetres. That's going to give us a book fold. Now, it's got a scalloped edge here, which I'm not actually going to do. I'm going to eliminate that. But I am going to cut my card base down a little bit so it does come to the full, but our front is going to finish about there. So I might cut probably around about maybe 1.5 centimetres off that. So we'll have a look at that. Okay, this piece here, I thought I would do that strip in using this beautiful paper. And that strip is going to be, so that's our DSP. That strip is going to be probably about, well, they've used less than an inch. They've used 3/4 of an inch there. And I'm just thinking, yeah, probably about roughly around about that. So that's going to be about 2 centimetres by the depth of our card, which is 14.9 centimetres or 14.8. Usually I like to go that little bit under and just lose it top and bottom, or go a little bit over and trim it down. Okay, we're going to this white piece they've got here in the centre. I'm going to do that as a DSP piece, because I really wanted to showcase that beautiful paper. So I'm going to be looking at doing that. Now I'm just looking at their measurements there. They're going at 2.5 inches, which is around about, 5 to 7, and that's probably pretty close. So I might just we'll have a look at this. I'm going to look at about 7 centimetres by, again, they've gone 4.25 inches, and 4 inches would be, let's have a look, because ours is going to be slightly longer because we have a slightly longer card base. So our card base is going to be 14.9 centimetres, which is almost 15. I'm going to be looking at, say, maybe doing this at 5, maybe 5 or 5 inches, 12.5 centimeters. Okay, this is sort of, I roughly work this out, and then as we go along we can trim it down depending on where we want to go. Hi Joan, how are you? Thanks for joining. Okay, so then they've got a sentiment piece. Well, I've pulled out, haven't chosen what sentiment we're going to use. I've just pulled out the stylish shapes and chosen 2 dies here, but I might put my flag piece in a different spot to where they've got it there. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing there. So I'm just going to pop those to one side. And they've got a circle piece here, and that is actually where I'm going to put my dies. So I'm not going to cut out a circle, but I am going to cut out some dies. So let's get cutting. Now, usually I've pre-cut everything, but today I thought, no, I'm going to let you see how I work all of this out. So let me just pop some of this to the side and pop that over there. Grab our trimmer. Now the colours I've chosen, my cardstock, I've got 2 here. I've got Fresh Freesia and I've got Petunia Pop, and I'm thinking at the moment I like the Petunia Pop. Let me just pull out that paper that I thought, thinking of going with that one. So I'm liking that a little bit at the moment. Where is that other piece of paper then? So that could be quite nice, even using this section here. So you've got the real Petunia Pop up here in this corner, and then as it diagonally goes across this design series paper, it changes colour. So this has sort of got a little bit of grey tones in their colours. So I'm sort of thinking maybe using this section here, which has had a little bit more grey in the Petunia Pop colour. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. So let's cut this down. So now please, if you've got any ideas of how we could change this, or whether you've got another idea, let me know. It's always great to have some input. I really feel that when I'm doing my lives with everybody, I'm actually not crafting completely on my own. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to score this first, because then that means that I've got this piece ready for another card as well. So I'm going to score it at my 10.5, and then I'm going to cut it at my 14.9, which is giving me half a sheet of an A4 piece of cardstock. Pop that one to one side for another card. So here's our card base there. Now I wanted to cut a portion off this side here. So I sort of thought we were talking, well, I was thinking about 1.5 centimeters. So if we cut 1.5 off there, that's that much. Don't want to cut too much off. I don't want to go too less either. I think 1.5 is going to be good. Because usually when you cut something like this off, you want to put something on the other side, but we're not necessarily doing that. So let's just get the bone folder. And the other thing you could do is you could get a die or something and cut a nice edge along there as well. But anyway, let's just keep playing. I may even put a little bit of the this paper in there as well. So we're talking about maybe taking a section off here. So I'm going to cut a strip off this. And now this one here, we said around about 2 centimeters wide. Now what I might do is actually cut this into, cut a 10 centimetre strip off that way. That way I'm not just, and then I can cut this at 14.9, or I cut it at 6 inches, or 15.2 centimetres, something like that. That piece is the other piece I don't want to particularly use. So this here, we want to cut a strip, and I want to cut it from this piece here, 2 centimetres. So I've got more of that pinky tones there. So I'm just looking at my 2 centimetre mark there. Let me just move this down so you can actually see. Sorry, I've got my camera up a little high, but if I put it much higher, I'm not going to get focus. So it's so I've got a strip there which is 2 centimetres wide, but it's also longer than what we need. It's 15 centimetres. We want it actually at somewhere around about 14.9. Actually, I might leave that and glue that on, and then we can take the excess off. So that's going to go on there like that. Now, I'm going to grab my little ruler here, and because we were looking at cutting our designer series paper at 7 by 12.5, but what they've done here, if we look at their design, they've actually taken this so it overlaps into that, over onto that designer series paper there. So we want to make sure that we're going to come across. So if we go 7 centimetres, yep, I think that might be enough. I think I might go a bit smaller. I think I'm going to go, I think about 6.5. So I don't want it overlapping too much. So let's just try 6.5. So I'm going to use this piece here. We can cut this down to 6.5 centimetres. Now, of course, you can choose which side you want to use. I want to use this piece up here with a little bit of the blue, but of course you could use this side here if you wanted, or for your front of your card. But I want predominantly more of this. If I'm going to cut anything away, I'm going to cut it away from the bottom because I just want to get rid of a lot of that green. Okay, so let's just pop that to one side for the moment. So we needed that 7, and again, I was looking at 12.5, so I could put my ruler down just to give me a bit of an idea. We're saying 12.5. I think I actually might even make that a bit smaller. 12, maybe 11.5. So let's just have a look, see where 11.5 comes on here. So if I cut that at 11.5, I'm going to lose quite a bit of this green. I want a little bit there, but so I'm just going to take just a bit off the top, off the blue. I want to keep as much of that blue as possible, but sometimes we have to just... So 11.5 is going to be about there. Remove that piece there. So it's going to take a lot of those yellowy colours out of this, because I really want those pinks and those blues to become a little bit more predominant. So the idea at the moment is that's going to go there. That's going to go on top. I think so far that's looking good. May have to put something in there yet, but it might be just a little bit of white. We'll see. Okay, so talking about the white, I want to cut our card insert, and I've got some basic white here. So I always like to cut my white into quarters. So I'm going to cut that down at 10.5. And then I'm going to cut this at 14.9. 9. That's given me 4 quarter sheets. And I'm going to trim this down to 10 centimetres by 14.4. So that's going to be about half a centimetre smaller than the actual inside of the measurements of the card. So there's our insert. Now actually we're going to make this a bit smaller because I didn't think of this. That's going to go in there, and we're going to have that piece there showing like that. Let's just have a look, see, before I trim anything away, let's see what we've got and what we're coming up with. Actually, I might leave that there because I was thinking of putting a white strip in there, but I think that could look quite nice. Okay, I don't mind that. Just got to remember, we're not going to put any stamping or anything into that corner, because when I put our die cut elements on there, they could come out over the top of that. I think that could be quite nice. Okay, so let's have a look. So there's our basis of our card. So let me just grab these other pieces of designer series paper. I've just got them all tucked underneath here, because what I want to do, and I've got this piece here as well, because what I want to do is use some of these dies to cut pieces out of the designer series paper. So I know a couple of these have got a greenish background, so we've got that one there, which we could very easily cut some of these leaves out of there. So let me just have a look what is on the other side. Okay, or we could even use this side here to give us, because it's going to give us a bit of texture. That's just, what sort of texture do I want? You could do that sort of texture. And I think what I'm going to do is cut this down. I'm just going to cut this piece in half, so at about 7.5 centimetres or 3 inches. Just give us a manageable piece, and we can sort of cut a few bits and pieces out of that. The other piece I wanted to cut some out of is this piece here. So let's have a look. So if we used, we've got that piece, which is the back of the other piece we've got. Just having a look at some of these. Don't really want to go too much into the blues. So we're going to do the greens in that. I was thinking something more in pinky tonings. Nothing really has sort of going into could even go, that could work out. Let's just have a little bit of a bit more of a look. Just working out how we can get some of these colours instead of just doing solid shape. Sort of look at some of these papers and you go, oh, it's a shame to cut into them. Actually, that one there could work quite well. So we're going to use that one, I think. Okay. Just pop all of those to one side and just cut this piece in half as well. And I want to use that half. I was just saying, it seems to be a shame sometimes to cut into some of these because these papers are so pretty. But you know what? We can just buy some more once we've used all these up. So let's just do some die cutting. So this piece here, and I want to use this die, and I want to try to get as much as the flower heads as I can up in that top section of that designer series paper. Let's just pop that out. Just looking for the right. I was using this the other day and I can't find the top to cover this, so it'll turn up. I was in my sewing room the other day. I've got a stamp set and I lost one of the dies in one of the stamps from it, and I must have lost it 2 years ago. And as you know, I've moved my craft room, separated my craft room from my sewing room, and I don't know what I've moved, but I have moved something, and I looked down on the floor the other day, and guess what? There's that stamp that has been missing for at least the last 2 years. So I believe that things will eventually turn up. Might take a little while. But look at this one. This is just, that's how I wanted that to turn out. So I've got all the flower heads in my pinks and my blues and purples and that, and then a bit of green down the bottom. Just by placing that on that paper. Just giving that lovely variegated sort of look. So I've got this little flower head here. I'm going to do a similar sort of thing here. By popping, I may even just turn that around the other way. So I may get a couple of these ones if I can. So it's got a flower with a longish stem. So again, I've just placed the flower head part into a section of the pinks with the stem and the leaves going down into the green. And again, that's how that's turned out. So let's see if we can grab another one of those. Just in case we want to sort of have a bit more of a play, I might just make that a slightly more darker flower head. But I'm just wondering, do I need another? Oh, wait for a bit. Got at least 2 of those there to play with. Now, so that's those 2 dies. And we've got all these leaf dies, but there is another die. I'm just thinking, it's this one here. It's very twiggy-like with lots of little leaves, but no actual flowers. So I could use a might just use the reverse of this and do that in those. Just trying to work out. Really want a little bit more of that green. So let's try that. We can cut a couple of those. So how's everyone been keeping? Everyone been keeping well? Not getting too much rain where you are? It has been raining here for a few days now. And I don't think it's going to let up just quite yet. Now this is probably where I'm going to really miss not having our vellum anymore, because I usually like to have something like a vellum to break up a lot of this if there's too much colour. But we could bring in that circle yet if we feel that we need something to break up some of that colour. So I'm just wondering whether this little scrap here, which we cut off the bottom, and I might just see if I can get those two leaves out of there. I don't want to put too much on because I don't want to take away from what papers we're using. Might as well use up all these little scraps and bits and pieces. Okay, I think that's all that for the time being. So there's that leaf there. So just let me bring all these little bits and pieces that we've just been die cutting down. We're just about ready to start doing some gluing. We've still got our sentiment to do and work out what colour we're going to do that in, and then where we're going to place it. As yet, so let's start putting this card together. So now we've cut all our bits and pieces. So there's some of our leaves that we've cut, some of our greenery. Now I may need to jump up and grab, I may even put a bow on this yet. And I think if we do that, we'll use some baker's twine. There's that as well. So that's what we're going to start playing with. So let's grab some glue and start putting this together. So I might pop this piece in first. We're not going to do any decoration on this as yet. We might put something on the inside, but on the opposite side. But at the moment, I want that white edge to be part of the focal point. So pop that into there. Give that a good rub down. just to make sure that that's all well and truly adhered. Now this is the piece we're going to pop on here, and I want to make sure that the bottom section of this, which I'm going to trim away, is in that blue area. So I'll pop that along there. Grab my paper snips. I'll just trim that excess bit off. Now the other thing that we could do is we could, if we wanted to, just to give this a little bit more of a lift, is matte. And if we're going to matte it, I'll be matting it in my white, and I actually quite like that, so I might do that. So let's just bring our trimmer in, put this to one side, just pop all those dies over there so we don't lose them. So this piece here, we cut that at 6.5 by 11.5. So if we cut this piece at, what do we say, 11.5, I would go 11, because we only want to put a little bit, so 11.8. By 6.5, 6.8. So I'm only giving it 3 mils, and that'll be about 1.5 mil all the way around it, because I just want that little bit of white on there, just to give that a little bit of lift and a little bit of separation. You're all being fairly quiet tonight. I hope you're enjoying this then. And thank you for all the patience that you've had with me over the last couple of weeks. I have not been really great health-wise, but not in any pain anymore, which is really good. All the pain that I've been dealing with for the last, it'll be over a month now, and then it came to had to have x-rays. I'll be almost a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and they tied me up in I felt like they were tying me up in a pretzel, and I ended up in so much pain with that. It wasn't funny. So my husband had me on some fairly strong painkillers because I was in agony. Okay. I'm thinking I might pop this one up on dimensionals. So we've got some dimensionals here. Putting at least a few there, and I want to just put another couple on either side. That. Take all these backings off. So how is everyone liking the new catalogue? I think it's beautiful. I think that some of these products are just stunning. Has anyone got a favourite as yet? Okay. So there's our card so far. And that's looking quite pretty, I think, even just like it is, without adding a bit more. But anyway, let's keep going with the direction we're heading on. So I was thinking of popping that onto there. Adding that with a bit more. So we want to bring some of those colours maybe out coming out that way. Now this is where we may need to do that little circle of something just to give it a little bit of, this is where I'm going to miss my vellum. I love the vellum because it can give you a bit of difference in colour, but we don't have it, so we've got to keep working without it. So it's whether we're going to pop, whether we even need those, because they're getting very lost. We might cut a circle and see what it comes up like. If anyone has got a idea, please let me know. Now we don't want too big a circle. Sort of even thinking maybe that one there. I think that one could be a little bit too small. Maybe that one. Let's go with that. It's all just trial and error, and you've just got to have sometimes an idea and you work towards that idea. Now I'm just wondering if any of these scraps I've got here, no, none of them is going to be big enough. Let's grab another one of these pieces here. Let's move these die cut pieces out of the road. I'm going to need to cut this down to 1/8, which is about 7.5. Pop that onto there. Pop that over into that corner. Just in that way we can use this piece of cardstock, what's left over, for another project. So what I'm sort of wondering is whether that might come there, and then we can pop those onto that. It just gives it that little bit of separation. What do you think? Let's bring it up a little bit closer so you've got a slightly better view of what I'm talking about. We've still got our sentiment to go on there yet. So what I might do, now we're going to have this going down 2 levels, so I'm going to put a dimensional on the back here. I might just use a mini dimensional just for the fact that I can fit in probably 2 there. Whoops, one of my dimensionals lost their backs. Let's pop that on there. And then a little bit of glue on there. It's just going to act as a bit of a separation, but also a base, because we want to bring those die cut pieces out over. So I'm just hoping we don't want to take this too far out. So I wanted that just to see how that is just popping past. So I wanted it to come past a bit. And that's probably about, I probably could have put those dimensionals a bit further in, and then I could have brought that out even further, but that's okay. That will still work there. Let's start gluing some of these bits down. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue in a few different places. So probably don't need them on those bits because we're going to be gluing down onto this circle. A little bit smudged with my glue, but that's okay because it's going to be things glued on top. So I'm going to have that one coming out over the top of that, like there. And if we wanted to, I might have a look. We'll make up, I think we might do our sentiment next, because then I'm thinking now the sentiment might go across there, which means that these pieces, these little leaves that I've done, could come in down the bottom here somewhere, or even on top. Let's do our sentiment. So, which sentiment are we going to use? I'm thinking at the moment, let's have a look. How big are they? As you can see, I haven't mounted these up as yet. So there's thanks. So I'm thinking of using this particular one here, or even thanks. There's, don't want missing you. You make life better. No, I don't think so. Dearest friend. I think it's way too big. Where's these narrower ones? Let's have a look at those. The dearest friend one might fit. Sometimes you just need a card that you can, it's not necessarily for any particular purpose, except for just telling someone how much you appreciate them. I'll send them a note. So you don't have to have a lot of sentiments. So I'm just going to, I've taken the backing off this, taking the backing off my transfer here, and I was going to lay that on top and then peel that off. Okay. We've got some scraps of our basic white that we had from before, and now it's whether we're going to use Pretty Peacock or Petunia Pop. Petunia Pop, not Petunia. So, which one do you think? I'm at the moment maybe even slightly going towards the Pretty Peacock. You know what we can do is we can do both of them and then see what you think. Let me know which one you think we should use. So there's the one in, I might even just redo that. Not happy with that, how that's inked up. So let's just try that again. Sometimes you just can't push down too heavy. That's better. I've got a clearer image there. Let me clean this down. Another piece of basic white. Stab that one there. Good. Just got a little bit of paper on that. I might just take that off. Don't want to get that on my fingers. Give that a clean. So let's die cut these two, and then we can work out which one is going to be the better one to use. So let me know in your comments which you think is going to be the better colour. So we're going to use Petunia Pop or Pretty Peacock. I'm just going to grab one of these little tags here just to pop on to hold my die in place. Okay, no one's got a preference as yet which they would prefer to see? Cheryl, what about you? Which colour would you prefer? Pretty Peacock, you think, Jen? Well, let's have a look. Okay, so we've got those all cut out now, so we'll bring our card back in and we'll see which one. So that's our Pretty Peacock. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry. And that's the Petunia Pop. Which one? Petunia Pop. At the moment, I think I'm going to be agreeing with Jen. I'm going for the Pretty Peacock. And then, so if we put that down, that can go even across there and maybe even take that. So I'm going to pop that onto dimensionals, I think. Oops, might want to take that dimensional off. I've gone too far over, I think. Let's pop that one there and just grab a new dimensional and just bring that slightly in, because what I'm thinking is that tag's going to go out over. Okay, so that can go there. Now we're still looking at these leaves, whether we can pop any of these leaves in. Or do we need the leaves? So we don't want to have too much, I don't think. Quite like it even without the leaves. Just adding that little bit in. I think sometimes just less is more. We definitely don't need these little pieces. So we have that, and then that opens up to that. I quite like that. And I love how we've got these pieces here coming off onto the white. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't even think it needs a bow or anything. I think that is quite sweet the way that is. Don't know whether these to me are slightly too big to go on there, I think. I think I might leave them for something for another project, another time. I'm not overly a blingy person. So I think I'm going to leave that now, just as is. And so that's a stop. So there's our template that we used, and there's the card that we've made from that. So really what we've only done a couple of changes, and we've moved the sentiment, we've kept the circle, we've moved the sentiment going across the circle, and we've taken away the scalloped edge. So I hope you've enjoyed that card. Really the paper is the hero in this, and I really love playing with it. But I just think cutting your dies out in that paper as well just gives you a lovely variation without having to colour things or having solid colour, because they're soft. If you had those in the solid colour as our base cardstock, it could have looked very heavy. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that has inspired you to get out there and to purchase this this suite. You will find this suite in my Stamping Up online store at michelejutrissa.stampingup.net, and you can purchase it all there if you wish, if you don't have another demonstrator. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to leave you now, and I'll be back on Friday with another card making. Don't know yet what we're going to do. We'll have to wait and see what I can come up with. But next Tuesday we'll do another template. But I hope you enjoyed this. And it's great having these templates, especially if you're not sure about what you want to do, or you're lost for ideas, or your mojo, or whatever. It's a great way of finding a design and creating something and making it your own. So have a lovely evening. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye for now.